Hi everyone, welcome back to the video series on demystifying cloud security governance. So in this video, I'm going to talk about most important topics which we have to keep in mind, which is basically called as a shared responsibility model. So when it comes to cloud computing, when you talk about the word called as cloud computing, one of the major aspects or the most important thing which we have to keep in mind is basically what we call as a shared responsibility model. So let's say, for example, when a business is going to cloud platform, that means that you are basically hosting your infrastructure on a third party's premises, like it can be called as a cloud service provider. So that means certain responsibilities and actions you're offloading to the cloud service provider. But at the same time, we have to understand that certain things can never be taken to the cloud service provider and certain responsibilities will always remain with you only. Right. And a proper understanding of the cloud shared responsibility model is most important if you want to have an effective cloud governance, if you want to ensure that you can get the proper benefit from cloud. Let's take an example. So for example, let's say we have an organization, okay, who is basically utilizing a SaaS application. Okay. Now, the organization who is consuming this SaaS application is expecting that it will be all the responsibilities, including security, data, or maybe whatever you can think about, every responsibility which may incur will be taken by the cloud service provider, and I don't have any responsibility because I'm just a consumer, right? But in reality, what happens is that after there is a breach happen, like basically due to some misconfiguration or due to some lack of encryption or due to a lack of multi-factor authentication or due to some reason, if there is any compromise occurs or if there is something goes wrong, your business is the one who is always liable to pay the penalties, maybe face the customers and face a lot of further legal consequences. So why is it happens that way? So when it comes to, let's say, for example, you take an example of a SaaS application. Okay, the security, of the cloud, like for example, the data center, the location, the infrastructure, the compute and underlying infrastructure is taken care by the cloud service provider. But if you talk about in the cloud, that means those things which basically there are certain responsibilities which always remain with you, especially when you go for a SaaS and all. The responsibility for data security and compliance, then the responsibility of secure configuration, the responsibility of ensuring that your data is properly safely held, and everything is basically lying with the cloud service customer or cloud service consumer. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who is always liable. You are the data owner. So tomorrow, if something goes wrong, you are the one who has to face the law. You are the one who may have to pay the penalties and all. Now, you may be thinking, Krish, I have not done anything wrong because, again, I can't control all these things. But still, what happens if you basically want to have an effective process we have to follow in SaaS and all, you have to make sure that you should have a proper contract which clearly defines your security requirement. That's the most important thing. Make sure you have a proper contract which clearly defines your security requirements and all. The second thing is that make sure you have a secure configuration for the application, because whatever we say that like physical security and all the things you can offload to a cloud service provider, but certain responsibilities like data security, compliance, etc. can never be responsible or never be taken to a cloud service provider. And that is where the proper governance of the shared responsibility model comes in picture. Whenever you're basically adopting a cloud service, whenever you're adopting a cloud platform, whenever you're adopting a SaaS application, etc., make sure that you have a clear understanding of what exactly is the responsibility of the cloud service provider and what exactly is the responsibility of the cloud service consumer. Make sure there is a proper process for onboarding your cloud and basically SaaS applications, and all. Make sure you can have a proper checklist or something you can have for onboarding your SaaS applications. Also, you can make sure that whenever you're basically taking or in onboarding a SaaS application, make sure you have a complete visibility. You should have a proper contractual agreement which gives you a proper visibility across the particular stuff which is happening in the backend. Even though you can't do it by yourself, you have to make sure it's properly in the contract, because at the end of the day, data security and compliance cannot be outsourced. It can be always a responsibility of the cloud service consumer. See you in the next video, team. Thank you.